I really hope you enjoy me getting tortured whenever I see a really bad movie. Because trust me, I'm not. Like, at all. God almighty. I can't believe we're talking about this one. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, okay. I guess as if one bad movie wasn't enough that I tackled upon in the last thoughts video. Looks like this one by far. Yeah, we're diving into another one. And I guess unlike the last one I've actually talked about where it's just bad for the sake of being bad, looks like this movie is not only just bad, but given to the reception it's actually got, it's embarrassingly bad. Like, at all. God almighty. So yeah. I really don't want to do this, folks. But I guess you guys seem to really enjoy me giving out any thoughts on any particular movie I go see. Which is kind of the main point of these thoughts videos. So I might as well give you guys what you want anyways. Yeah. I guess you can kind of see where I'm getting at, folks. We're finally going that route once again. Okay. Alright then, well. Yeah, I seem to be getting way ahead of myself again, so let's go ahead and dive right into it, shall we? So yeah, anyways, I guess since after last weekend, where of course I bombarded myself with, of course, a massive double feature, seeing both Trap and Harold and the Purple Crayon, I think we might as well dive right back into seeing one movie as usual, right up until the next double feature I might plan on doing anytime soon, which may be a long while. But you can kind of see where I'm getting at, folks. But anyways, I guess for today's movie we're going to be talking about here today, well, I guess if anything, yeah, I guess for pretty much if anything, here's something we never actually talked about in quite a long time, for sure. We're actually going to be talking about the latest movie that's, well, based on the video game, for sure, and well, I guess if anything, I guess if you want to know for the fact that if you have been following my channel for quite some time, I have talked about a good number of movies based on video games, for sure, some of which that I've actually seen are actually pretty good, for sure. But yeah, either way, I think, I guess given for all that, I think it's always quite interesting that in the recent years we've been getting some good movies based on video games, for sure. But just as, but I guess for the sake of this movie, for sure, just when we thought we finally have seen the light at the end of the tunnel, the shark returns. And by shark, I mean pretty much part of the era where we know for the fact that movies based on video games are terrible. Yeah, that kind of a shark, for sure, and surprisingly enough, for this movie we're talking about here today, it's actually based on a well-known video game series that's been around for some time, that has grown a lot of popularity, for sure, and of course I may not got myself into it, for sure, but I can understand why a lot of people enjoyed this series, for sure, so. And I guess for the sake of pretty much that, it's actually been made into a movie, for sure, and which is not a big surprise, of course, that front, but hey, what can you do at this point, But either way, I think it's what we're talking about here today, and like I said, pretty much due to the reception it's got, it's not only bad, it's embarrassingly bad. But again, I'm getting way too ahead of myself for sure, so yeah, if you can't already tell, and of course, based on my reaction, pretty much at the beginning of this thoughts video, I think we might as well go ahead and talk about the latest movie that had just came out that I had the privilege to go see, which is none other than Borderlands. Yes, folks, we're finally talking about this one for sure, and yeah, not only is this the latest film that just came out not too long ago, but it's also based on the well-known video game series of the same name, Borderlands, for sure, so yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Alrighty then, so yeah, before I can dive right into this latest movie, I think it makes sense for me to talk about, well, Borderlands in a nutshell. Now, truth be told, I guess, if anything, as someone who actually has played video games for some time, truth be told, I never actually pretty much have actually got myself into Borderlands for sure, and I don't know, I think it's mainly because of some different consoles that I've been using that I couldn't gain access to, but either way, I think if anything, despite me not being a fan of course, the video game series, I actually do understand that pretty much the video game, yeah, the video game series is actually has actually been around for some time and has garnered a massive fan base for sure, and I can understand that, and of course, based on what I've actually seen from my research, it actually does look quite interesting. Like, I've actually seen a good number of people cosplaying as the characters from Borderlands for sure, and not to mention, pretty much, yeah, I know for the fact that graphics actually doesn't make a video game, but it actually does look nice for sure, so yeah, but yeah, I guess either way with what I've actually seen, Borderlands actually does look quite nice, despite for the fact that I've never actually played it before for sure, but either way, it actually does sound intriguing, and I actually would get myself in for, of course, while I'll be in for sure, so yeah, I guess if anything, despite the fact that I never actually played any of the games, I do acknowledge that Borderlands actually is quite interesting as someone who is not familiar with it for sure, but actually does understand it has garnered a massive following over the years for sure, so yeah, that's pretty much what I can say for the entire Borderlands, yeah, the entire Borderlands video games in a nutshell for sure, so yeah, and I guess I give it to all the hang, pretty much if anything, give it to all that, and of course, if you can imagine, I think if you have followed me on social media, based on what I've actually seen in the trailers, that pretty much I heard they were gonna make a movie based on this, I wasn't really looking forward to seeing it for sure, but the idea of Borderlands being made into a movie, I do think there is some strong potential for sure that you could actually do something cool with it for sure that can actually make it as a really fun and interesting video game flick for sure, so but with what I've actually seen in the trailers, it's pretty much not the case for sure, and I wasn't really looking forward to seeing on what goes down for that movie for sure. And I mean, I wish I could actually avoid that movie to help save the trouble for sure, but I have a job to do and I have to pretty much give you guys what I'm actually in for, so yeah. I was resistant to, of course, see this at first, but I still want to give it a fair shot, which, of course, requires me to actually go and see this movie for myself, so yeah, that's pretty much what I actually did. And of course, I was lucky enough to actually get myself in to officially see this movie for sure. All thanks to the kind people at Crown City Cinemas as always. And well, now that I've officially got back from, of course, seeing it, am I actually right in saying that I wasn't really excited for it based on what I've actually seen in the trailers? Or I guess if anything, what do I think of this now that I finally got the chance to see it? If I could describe this movie in at least one simple, easy word, it would be this. Awful. Just awful. 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 Oh my god. Oh. Yeah. I guess if you can't already tell, this movie was absolutely terrible. Just God-forsaken awful. And if you think that's not bad enough, remember what I actually talked about Madam Web several months ago? Earlier this year? I think I pretty much owe that movie an apology now. I mean, I actually thought Madam Web is probably the worst one I've actually seen this year, but this? Borderlands? This just takes the cake! Yeah. I guess everyone's writing, of course, saying this. This movie is not just bad, it's embarrassingly bad for sure. Just godforsaken, godforsaken, awful piece of crap flick that I've actually seen in my entire life. Fucking hell. Oh my god. I guess you can kind of see where I'm getting at, folks. It's that bad. Alright. Right, okay. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, now that I finally got the short version out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about everything that I need to talk about on how terrible this flick is for sure. So yeah, and I guess for starters, we might as well start off with, of course, the story. And yeah, I guess with what I've actually seen by far story-wise, yeah, I think I actually do felt story-wise, I do felt it is incredibly disjointed and completely all over the place. Like I didn't actually I don't actually follow through on everything that goes on for sure. In fact, pretty much every single time I actually watch it, I actually get myself incredibly confused with everything that goes on throughout the course of this flick for sure. So yeah, every single plot point from what I've actually seen by far, I was hoping they'll actually give us something quite interesting, but no! They actually didn't. I was actually pretty much left looking at the screen going on like, would you care to explain that? Because I'm not following through on what's going on. Yeah, and let's not forget to mention, I think there are even some parts of it where I actually felt bored by seeing this going on like, okay, I think we get it, you're boring me, can we move on to the next scene? Yeah, I guess with what I've actually seen by far, this pretty much story-wise, I really don't think it actually works quite well. And how does this in any way actually connect well to the games for sure? Because yeah, I think this is something that pretty much let's say like a 9-year-old kid who has got done playing Grand Theft Auto. suddenly had no idea, suddenly can craft a story based on their first experience playing Borderlands for sure. But yeah, I guess either way, I really don't follow through on what goes on with the story for sure, and I really do felt that I think, if anything, I really got myself more confused than engaged on everything that goes on for sure, so yeah, and of course, for the writing, I have to say, that too I felt was incredibly disjointed for sure, and not only that, I also do felt it's incredibly sloppy for sure, so yeah, with everything with what I've actually seen, I really don't think it's actually written out quite well for sure, and if anything, I think it's almost like they actually pretty much took the shredding previous drafts for sure that was, of course, that was rejected because of how terrible it was, and taped it back together and compiled it all into, of course, the final draft that they used for the when they shot this movie for sure. So yeah, I guess if anything, yeah, I think it's what I can say for the writing, I have to say, and of course for another aspect, the comedy for sure. Well, I think before I could get right onto that, going back into the writing for sure, and yeah, I really do think it could have used a massive rewrite, or I guess in this case, several more rewrites for sure, so yeah, now going on to the comedy for sure. What comedy? I mean, yeah, I know they actually wanted to cram in several jokes as possible, but with, of course, what I've actually pretty much seen and heard throughout the course of this movie, I really do felt the comedy in this one is just god-awful, like, yeah, I think I was left with, absolute silence, pretty much not getting one single joke for sure that really didn't follow through quite well without a really good punchline for sure. I mean, come on, you're trying your best to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, except you're not Guardians of the Galaxy for sure. So yeah. Yeah, those are, of course, what I can say for the story, the writing, and the comedy for sure. Yeah, I really don't follow through on everything that goes on for sure, and like I said, it could use a massive rewrite, or I guess in this case, several more rewrites for sure, so yeah. It's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Yeah, I can't even, there we go. Okay, now that I got those out of the way, let's talk about the next couple of things I need to talk about, which are, of course, for starters, is, of course, the characters, and yeah, I'm pretty sure a good number of people who have actually played the games actually do know the characters are, but for me, I actually don't follow through on, of course, what I've actually seen with the characters, and yeah, pretty much a good number of the characters are so poorly developed, and I really couldn't get myself engaged with, of course, their personalities, nor find them likable and interesting for sure. In fact, if anything, I was actually more turned off by the characters as a whole for sure, because of how poorly developed they are for sure. So yeah. Yeah, I guess either way with what I've actually seen, I really don't follow through on, of course, the characters for sure, and yeah, each and every single one of them for sure, I really don't think they actually have anything that would give them personality and stuff, so yeah, I actually find myself not rooting for these characters for sure, and I can pretty much see most of the cliches and tropes from them, as well as everything else in this movie from like a mile away for sure. Like, we've all seen it coming, and this is the price we pay, folks. Yeah. It's pretty much what I could say for the characters for sure, so yeah. And of course, for the actors that came on board to play all these characters, Yeah, I don't know what kind of, yeah, I don't know what they were actually in for when they actually pretty much signed on board to be part of this movie, but it looks like the acting in this film, it's not really that great for sure. In fact, if anything, it's most likely they're actually pretty much they're actually more investing in, of course, getting themselves out of the movie rather than being invested with having fun with this movie for sure. And I do know a good number of star power pretty much has been attached to this movie for sure, like, of course, pretty much Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis, to which I know I've actually seen, I've seen them in good stuff for sure, but their performances are so terrible. Yeah, I think pretty much ranging from, of course, making the characters ranging from bad to just annoying at best for sure, So yeah, I guess they're acting in this film, let alone their investment and delivery for sure, engaging every single of their performances. I really don't follow through on, of course, all that, and it's just by all means not really great acting. I really don't think they actually pretty much really give it all they've got for, of course, this one. Well, except for Cate Blanchett, who I can give credit to this movie. She seems to be the only one who is at least trying her best to make this movie work for sure. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I can say for the acting and the characters for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright, done with that. Alrighty then, so yeah, now that I've actually got those out of the way, what else is there for me to talk about? Well, I could stop this video right here, but I still need to do what I need to do for sure, so I guess for starters, I think we might as well talk about the action for sure, and yeah, I guess if anything, I think the action, of course, of this one, I really don't think it's actually that exciting for sure. In fact, every single action scene from what I've actually seen by far, it's not really that great for sure. Like, each and every single fight scene and car chase from what I've actually seen, I think I actually didn't get myself excited to actually see it. I actually find myself getting incredibly bored for sure, and I think that's the biggest crime that any action flick might commit is, of course, making the action incredibly boring for sure, and I guess it's no big surprise with, of course, this flick as a whole for sure. The action, of course, this one, yeah, it's just so terrible. It just left me feeling bored by seeing it. Yeah, in fact, if anything, I think, and I think pretty much going back to the film's comedy for sure, it's not only for the fact that I wasn't getting myself excited for, of course, the action. I actually pretty much find myself yawning for sure because of how boring the action is for sure. Which I can make the same argument for the comedy, where I was not only left with a complete silence after hearing one single joke, it actually left me yawning for sure. I was like, yeah, I think it's pretty much what I could say for the action for sure, and of course the visuals and the effects for sure. I will give it credit that they wanted to make it look nice for sure. But I just felt that pretty much the visuals and the effects really doesn't fit bolding quite well for sure, and I really didn't get myself invested with, of course, what I'm actually seeing on screen. Well, I guess aside from the world building, which I guess is passable to say the least, but the rest of the visuals and the effects, I just really don't think actually worked quite well for sure. And even the CGI, of course, this one is, yeah, it's a lot of lame for sure. So yeah, almost to the point where I'm actually not really convinced that everything I'm seeing actually is actually there or actually blends in with, of course, the surroundings for sure. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front, so yeah. And of course, going on to the next subject, the direction of this film, to which I'm actually quite surprised to see that this film is in fact directed by Eli Roth, for sure. Now, that is actually a big shock, for sure, because if anything, much like most of the actors in, of course, this film, I actually do know Eli Roth has actually pretty much has made several films in the past that may look pretty bad, but actually turned out good for sure. So yeah, I guess either way, yeah, I guess given for the fact that Eli Roth has actually directed some pretty good films in the past for sure, I don't even know what's going on when he directed this film for sure. So yeah, no disrespect to Eli Roth for sure. I know he's a great guy and a really good director for sure, but I guess for the sake of course, this film as a whole, yeah, I really don't think he might be on his A game directing this flick for sure. Like, I know he's trying to actually work around the material that's actually been given to him, but of course he realizing actually is so bad that he's almost like, oh God, what am I getting myself into? To which, if that be the case, then I know how you feel, Eli Roth. I really don't blame you, so yeah, like I said, Eli Roth is a good director, and I know he has directed some good stuff in the past, but this is definitely not one of them for sure, and he's definitely not on his A game directing this movie for sure, So yeah, and of course the cinematography in this film, yeah, I really don't think they actually provide some really great camera shots that actually work out quite well for sure. And just by looking at it, I think I was like, what the hell is going on? I can't make out what's been happening for sure. And of course, the A-ing, I have to say, is just so cut up poorly that I really couldn't make out on what goes on for sure. And of course, tying into the film's pacing, yeah, that too I felt is pretty much, very much lacking at best. Like, nothing about it actually flows out quite well throughout the course of this movie, to the point where I actually got myself invested with everything that goes on for sure. So yeah, I guess with everything that I actually have to say, I think you can pretty much see exactly on why I actually said what I have to say at the beginning of this one for sure. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. So yeah, I guess with all that said and done, that's pretty much everything that I need to say about this movie for sure. So yeah, like I said, I thought Madam Web was probably the worst film I've actually seen this year, but this just takes the cake for sure. Oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, overall, God, this one was awful. But yeah, with everything that I've actually said by far, Borderlands is just nothing more but a complete massive dumpster fire, or of course in this case, a massive pile of dog crap that I've actually seen by far. Everything about this movie doesn't work as a whole, and I was actually leaving myself pretty much all the more confused and pissed off for sure, rather than pretty much intrigued and of course actually satisfied for sure. And yeah, I guess if anything, I know I pretty much with what I said earlier, I know nothing about Borderlands going into, of course, this one, and well, after seeing this movie for sure, think I know less about it now for sure, so yeah, given to all that, I definitely do think this film is a pretty much a really god-awful, unfunny piece of shit movie I've actually seen by far. Like, yeah, pretty much watching this movie for sure, I think I was pretty much viewing this movie as like a pretty much a memorial of all the people that have went through this tragic event. And this movie is that tragic event for sure, so yeah. Given to all that, that's how much I really hate this movie in a nutshell for sure. And again, I do feel bad for not just the people who signed on board to be in this, but also Eli Roth for sure. Yeah, I've seen them in good stuff in the past for sure. And yeah, Eli Roth has actually directed some movies that look pretty bad based on what I've actually seen in the trailers, but actually turned out good for sure. So yeah, I had no idea on what goes on throughout the course of this movie for sure. Like, of course, pretty much after I saw this movie, one person that I know of, Justin, who actually does work at Crown City Cinemas for sure, that I'm always happy to see for sure. He told me that, based on, of course, on the video game series, that the movie itself could have been, yeah, I think the movie was originally gonna be rated R for sure, and like, of course, it was actually pretty much meant to serve as a rated R flick for sure when they actually first started working on this one. And well, I guess based on what he actually told me, I actually do agree, and there is some truth to that for sure. I mean, based on what I've actually seen the games for sure, and again, I know nothing about the video game series in a nutshell, so I'm pretty sure any fans of the games will actually know more than I do for sure. But of course, based on what I've actually seen in the games, it does actually contain a lot of mature content for sure, and maybe I think a movie that pretty much having this movie be rated R for sure, I think could actually be possible for sure. Yeah, I think it'll be kind of similar to what I actually thought about the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie from a few years ago for sure. As decent as that flick is, in my opinion, I will have to praise it for the fact that it decided to go all out and get itself that rated R rating for sure, which, of course, based on the original video games for sure, pretty much that movie was, of course, based on for sure. I actually do think the movie did a fine job, and of course, doing that for sure, and yeah, even looking back on it now, it actually does result in, well, not particularly a pretty much a great movie by all means, but still a decent one regardless. So yeah, if that being the case for that's a movie I talked about years ago for sure, maybe I think having a pretty much a Borderlands movie that is rated R can actually be a whole lot better for sure. But I don't know what's been going on by the time pretty much this movie finally got released for sure. Maybe I think it's mainly because of studio interference for sure, so that way they can dumb it down to a PG-13 rating. And if that being the case, then I guess it's no big surprise, of course, that front. And yeah, it's not the fault of the filmmakers for sure. Like I said, I know they have directed some good stuff in the past for sure. But I think I think this movie could have been a whole lot better if it was rated R for sure. I mean, if it was, then I can definitely tolerate this movie a whole lot better. But given to, of course, the state where it's at right now, I think it deserves the brunt of my wrath for sure. Because, yeah, in the end, it's not only pretty much a terrible flick by far, but I can't believe I have to say this, but given to how repetitive, repulsive, god-awful it is, yeah, I guess there's no doubt in my mind that this is definitely one of the worst flicks I've actually seen this year by far. Nothing about it actually works in my opinion, and yeah, it actually resulted in me in wasting over an hour and a half of my time for sure, and given to the other bad movies I've actually talked about pretty much for the past several years, doing all these thoughts videos, that's saying a whole lot for sure. So yeah, I guess either way, Borderlands is not worth your time as a movie for sure, and chances are, I don't think it's one that is worth checking out for sure. So yeah, definitely the worst one I've actually seen this year by far, and to say that I actually hate this movie is an understatement for sure, but you kind of get my point for sure. So yeah, either way, Borderlands, I do understand it's a really good video game series that I know a lot of people like, but for the movie, not so much, and I find myself pretty much leaving myself confused and pissed off for sure. So yeah, awful flick all around. Not worth your time seeing, so yeah. I can't believe it's come to this, folks, but for a movie on this scale for sure, I can't believe it's come to this, folks, but for my final score, yeah, I am giving this movie a 1.5 out of 10. Yeah. That's how low I'm actually gonna go on, of course, on this one by far. In fact, I dare even say this is probably the lowest score I can actually give to this movie for sure. Everything about it is just the worst by far. I really don't think it's actually worth your time actually seeing for sure. And yeah, and to be fair, if you like this movie, that's totally fine. Yeah, doesn't mean I find you as a bad person by all means. I fully respect your opinion, but for me, yeah, I am just absolutely pissed off for sure, given to what I've actually seen by far. This movie is probably not only a terrible flick all around, but this is probably the worst film I've actually seen this year by far for sure. And again, given to the other bad movies I've actually seen as of now, that's saying a whole lot for sure. So yeah, my advice, don't see this movie for sure, because if anything, you're not going to get much from what I've actually seen, and given for the fact that it has little to nothing to do with the original video games it's based on, I think you're better off playing the Borderlands video games for sure than going to see this really disastrous snooze fest of a flick for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Okay, so I guess with all that said and done, that's pretty much everything that I can actually say about this movie for sure. So yeah, by all means, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you guys for sure. What do you think of the Borderlands movie, if you have actually seen it by far? Are you like me and you absolutely hate this flick right to the bare core for sure? Or do you find yourself liking it and thinking there might be something of value of course, this one? Or are you somewhere in between where you actually thought it was okay for sure? So yeah, let me know in the comment section below if you've actually seen this movie by far, and again, if you like it, that's totally fine. I fully respect your opinion, and it doesn't make you a bad person by far. But yeah, I think it's pretty much what I can say, of course, this one. So, oh my god. So yeah, glad I finally got this movie taken care of for sure. So yeah, I guess given to how awful this flick is, well, nowhere to go but up for sure. So yeah, I guess either way, it looks like for my next thoughts video, looks like the next movie I'm gonna go see is, of course, Alien Romulus for sure. I'm praying to God that maybe, just maybe, it might actually be good. And if it is, then there might be some hope for sure. And if not, then, well, game over, man. Game over. But I don't want to get myself way too ahead of myself for sure. So I'll keep my hopes up that Alien Romulus will probably be good by the time I go see that one next for sure. So yeah, once I do actually go see it, I'll be sure to let you guys know for sure. So yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. So I guess until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and pray for me, folks. Pray for me in the next Thoughts video for sure. So yeah. Bye.
Special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon for making today's video possible, including my top tier supporters for this month, VD. So if you want to be like these guys and show your support to us, then go to patreon.com/Ackleyattack447TV to pledge now, do so, and get some awesome rewards within your budget. Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and share if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you like what you see here and want to see more videos coming up, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and switch on the notification bell to get notifications, and select all notifications to be notified for when we post a new video. And don't forget to switch on notifications on your phone as well. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel and our 2-member channel with Sam the Thomas Fan 1, SamAttack4427TheThomasFan1 Productions, for plenty more content you can't find on here. You can check both of our channels out with the links or by our handles provided on screen. Feel free to shoot me an email with my email address provided, backley95@hotmail.com, if you want to ask me a question, want to collab with me for a project you've got in the works, or if you want to book me to be featured for a convention coming up. Follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with me on updates, announcements, and new releases of my videos, as well as plenty of others I've got with my handles provided, as well as the links down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok for other videos I've got aside from the ones I've posted on YouTube, and on Twitch for any future live streams I've got coming up soon, as well as join our official Discord server to see what we've provided. If you wish to show your support to me, then feel free to check out my Patreon to get sneak peeks of my videos coming up before they go up online, as well as getting access to updates and playing more, in addition to getting some awesome rewards within your budget. Also, don't forget to check out and show your support to me on my wishlist on Amazon, and even supporting me at streamlabs.com/AckleyattackTV/tip that you can find in the description box below, as well as on my Twitch page. And in case you can't find any of the links that are provided, then not to worry about a thing. All the links and stuff are also provided on my link tree that you can also find in the description box below, as well as a few selected number of my social media pages. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Take care.